Okay. I usually do a verse in these, so I won't do two verses. Here we go. As usual, I'll start off with a verse. I don't know when I'm gonna stop. I don't know how long this is gonna be. It's the usual. Chapter 10 of Ecclesiastes. Dead flies cause the ointment of the apothecary to send forth a stinking savour. So doth the little folly him that is in reputation for wisdom and honour. A wise man's heart is at his right hand, but a fool's heart at his left. Yea, also, when he that is a fool walketh by the way, his wisdom faileth him, and he saith to every one that he is a fool. If the spirit of the ruler rise up against thee, leave not thy place, for yielding pacifieth great offences. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. He that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whoso breaketh a hedge, a serpent shall bite him. Whoso removeth stones shall be hurt therewith, and he that cleaveth wood shall be endangered thereby. If the iron be blunt, and he do not wet the hedge, then must he put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct. Surely the serpent will bite without enchantment, and the babbler is no better. The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow up himself. The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is mischief, madness. A fool also is full of words. A man cannot tell what shall be and what shall be after him. Who can tell him? The labor of the foolish weareth every one of them, because he knoweth not how to go to the city. Woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child, and thy princes eat in the morning. Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness. By much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hands of the house droppeth through. A feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. Curse not the king, no, not in thy thought, and curse not the rich in thy bedchamber. For a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which hath wings shall tell the matter. To Thomas Pinckney, Philadelphia, February 25th, 1795. Dear Sir, the gentleman who will have the honor of delivering this letter to you is Dr. Tate, who is possessed of the valuable secret of curing cancer's complaints. A call to England for some purpose of that sort, or with a view to derive benefit from his discovery, affords me an occasion to inform you, at his request, that I have myself experienced the fruits of his skill in this art, being cured by him of an irritable spot on my right cheek, which had for years been an increasing and pricking and disagreeable sensations, and in June last assumed that decided character of a cancer, of which I was perfectly relieved by Dr. Tate in about 2 months by an easy course, under the operation of which I felt no confinement or other inconvenience at the time, nor any injury to my constitution since. As he is going to a foreign country, and I am enabled from my own experience to bear testimony of his skill in this particular, justice required I should do so, and it is with pleasure also that I embrace the opportunity of assuring you of the esteem and regard with which I am, etc. To William Pierce. Philadelphia, March 1st, 1795. Mr. Pierce, I have to acknowledge the account of your letter of the 22nd, all to, and shall give you my sentiments upon the several matters required. With respect to the fishery, I am of opinion that selling them all to one man is best, and that if Mr. Smith will give 5 shillings per 1,000 for herrings, and 12 shillings a hundred for the shad, and will oblige himself to take all you have to spare, that you had better strike and enter a written agreement with him, by which agreement he must be bound to receive or pay for all you do not want for my own use, and to fill the 100 barrels you are getting, For you will recollect that both these species of fish run in what are called gluts, at which time if he is not prepared for their reception and compelled to take them, I shall lose the market, and fishing thereby will become rather a loss than benefit. As without this, he being the only purchaser, you would only draw the seine as he could conveniently cure the fish, by which means, when the fish are moving up in a body and a 10 for 1 and another time might be caught, he might not receive them, and of course your harvest would be lost. Having 100 barrels of your own will, in some measure, secure you against the extent of this evil, but it ought nevertheless to be guarded against. Another thing is to be understood between you, and that is that he is not to interfere with the house where your fish and salt will be. I never chose to sell to Wagner's. Their horses have always been found troublesome, and themselves indeed not less so, being much addicted to the pulling down and burning the fences. If you do not sell to Smith, the next best thing is to sell to the watermen. I do not know for what purpose an order of court is to be obtained by Mr. Washington for the purpose of surveying the land which he for himself or others hold on 4 Mile Run. If all the parties concerned agree to survey and mark their boundaries, it may be done without the interference of the court. If they do not, as there is no suit pending, I should not like to have any line marked that is to establish my boundary without being present myself, to see that I had justice done me. As far as I am able at the present moment and under probable events to form an opinion, I expect to be at Mount Vernon about the 15th or 20th of April. If therefore the parties interested will endeavor to accommodate matters to that time, I will endeavor to the present at the survey of the lands adjoining to mine. It is to be observed, however, that public business will not put it so much in my power to accommodate myself to their convenience as it may be in their power to yield to mine, which obligeth me to speak more in general terms of being at Mount Vernon than definitely. I agree to your taking up the young cedars along the creek side and transplanting them in the lane you propose, and am glad to find you have managed the cedar berries in the manner you have mentioned. They certainly make a good hedge and are a tree of quick growth. I agree also, and indeed strongly recommend your breaking up the lucerne lot by the spring, and wish that it may be extremely well plowed, harrowed, and prepared for lucerne and clover seed mixed, the former of which, if any fresh and good can be had, I will send from hence. Osna Briggs also shall be sent from hence, and do not let the work stop for want, for I do not suppose it is to be purchased upon much, if any better terms here than in Alexandria. Do you not mean to spend for linen the flax that has been raised on the estate for 2 last years? You may inform Mr. Bailey, when occasion offers, that it is not certain now that the same price for which I offered the small piece of land I hold on Difficult Run would tempt me to part with it, since I find my inquiry that lands of worth. Pierce Baylor, he was the collector of Truro Parish, quality and not more convenient to the federal city on the Maryland side of the Potomac, are selling from $20 to $30 per acre without any extra. Advantage to recommend them, whereas mine has a good mill seat on the main run of Difficult, and in my opinion a still better one in what is called the bridge branch thereof, and a considerable portion of the tract capable of being converted into a good meadow. It lies on the main road from Alexandria to Leesburg, only 19 measured miles from the former, and not more than 3 from the Great Falls or Matildaville. As to renting it, it is hardly worth mentioning these terms, but as the question has been asked you, and as the lowest price I ever will take on the land is 1,500 Virginia Curie, potential spam over here, which I have been offered, differing only in the interest of the unpaid money, it will not be expected that I should hereafter sell, which would bring me in less annual profit than the sum would do at 5 per count annually. I think Mr. Stewart ought to be informed if ever Fowler's Bend comers unto the farm, you're to give him a good whipping, and forbid his ever returning. I am, etc. P.S. You might make a transcript of the foregoing paragraph respecting my land on Difficult Run, and with the plan send it to him, as from yourself, as my answer, that is, you need not mention it was done by my direction. So are you saying that I can change all these names to my Mr. Smith? I believe somewhere along the line, like a typo has happened somewhere, as was mentioned. To John Lathrop Jr. Philadelphia. We'll go ahead and down to the bottom here. William Smart, overseer at River Farm. On March 1st, Dandridge wrote to the Secretary of War that the President thought General Wayne's letter of January 24th should be laid before Congress, or published in the Gazettes. Wayne's letter is not now found in the Washington papers, but is printed in American State Papers, Indian Affairs, Volume 1, It announced the pleasing prospect of peace with the Indians northwest of the Ohio and recited the preliminary articles of a treaty with the Chippewas, Potawatomis, Sacs, and Miamis, a lawyer of Boston, Massachusetts. To John Lathrop, Jr., Philadelphia, March 2nd, 1795. Sir, your favor of the 29th of January came duly to hand. I pray you to accept my thanks for your politeness in sending the intended oration therewith enclosed, and for the favorable mention you have been pleased to make of Sir, your etc. To Burgess Ball, Philadelphia, March 2nd, 1795. Dear Sir, your letters of the 19th of December and 9th also came duly to hand in the usual course of the post. I was not unmindful of the contents, although I did not acknowledge the receipt of them. General Knox, who was in offense when the first came to hand, said, as well as I recollect, that nothing could be done in the matter without an act of the legislature of Virginia, consenting to the purchase of the spot, designating for the erection of an arsenal agreeably to the law if that state should be thought of for one of them, but that he would write to you himself on the subject. Colonel Pickering, who succeeded him and to whom your other letter has been shewn, thinks the price asked for your land is very high and the situation rather too low down. I desired him, however, to write to you and to put you on a certainty respecting your offer. This, I presume, he has done, or soon will do, or will send a skillful man to whom he confide to re-examine the different sites on the river fit for the establishment of an arsenal. I believe they're in agreement. After giving you this information, I am not inclined to say anything more to the Secretary of War, in whose department the business lies, respecting the matter, lest it should be supposed I am influenced thereto by the connection which is between us. I have so little leisure while Congress are in session to give any attention to matters of private concern. I believe there are over 30 states now, and generally so much hurried towards the close of it, that I shall be at this time only add my love to Mrs. Ball, in which Mrs. Washington unites, and that I am, etc. P.S. No such act as is mentioned in your letter of the 19th of December has ever been transmitted to me by the executive of Virginia, yet such a one may have passed. So one of the things you talk about potatoes, me and my dad were talking about. Missouri, they actually ask farmers not to farm. They would actually pay people not to farm on their land because they had so many. So now we're moving on to something else. The 19th. There's over 30 states now. I could pull them up now if you want me to. He's talking to the federal city here. So I guess Jackson. Not that I want it to be. I guess you would be the federal city here, Mount Vernon. Dude, again, I bring this to. I'm doing this on Facebook the right way. That way people can sink in and let them think about it. You know, can I have my provisions for the day? But while you sit here and ponder on this and get destroyed. Oh, look, there's my bird. Really, really. I hate to be an ass, but you're an ass. So I'll be an even more ass. I believe he asked me to move on to our friend the Upanishad. The Queen of Sheba, I believe, my lovely wife. The union here. I'll move on to 5 here. I'll get away from death. The babe. He thought, if I kill him, I shall be making very little food. Through that speech and that mind, he projected all this, whatever there is, the Vedas, recollect yajas and saman, the metras, the sacrifices, men and animals. Whatever be projected, he resolved to eat, because he eats everything. Therefore, Aditi, death, is so called. He who knows how Aditi came to have this name of Aditi becomes the eater of all this, and everything becomes his food. The hairspray, it makes sense, like the progressional level. So they're aware of it, especially with the pyramids. If you look at it, the heat that it produces. Think of the revolution and all the math that is drawn there. Dante's Inferno. That would be the bottom of the Inferno. So they're aware of it. So you guys are still young. It's almost like bait. Again, there's science to be had, and there's more to it than that. Like, there's two sides here. But I believe that would be the gist of it, with the I mentioned before, the castles and the moats, so that stagnant water would be no different. So whenever you do that, like hairspray, it'll become stagnant on the ground, and then that's where like germs start happening, so on and so forth, room to room here. And if we've mentioned in the Bible, he's even talked about it. When they leave the room in the area, and then come back to it, it'll be worse off. Excuse me for.
Tell the depth has changed there. What is going on there? Munchkin. I can feel it. Oh my goodness.
Target spotted.
Seeing the babe frightened and crying, he, Death, thought, although he was hungry, if I kill him, this babe, I shall be making very little food. Quit harassing me, how about that? I think is what it comes down to.
One hit.
We're not interested.
Long haul,
I mean, I am, but the root man with the prefix abhi means to injure or kill.
And he goes around?
Thinking thus
And he goes around?
desisted from eating him, for he must make not a little food. He's talking about that statue. But a great quantity of it, so that he might eat it for a long time. And if he ate the babe, he would make very little food, as there is no crop if the seeds are eaten up. Thinking of the large quantity of food necessary for his purpose, through that speech the Vedas already mentioned, and that mind united them, it sounds like he's lazy. That is reflecting on the Vedas again and again. He projected all this, the movable and immovable, animals, plants, etc., etc. Whatever there is, what is it? The Vedas recollect Yajas and Saman, RC, the 7 mantras, viz., Gayatri, and the rest, i.e., the 3 kinds of mantras, sacred formulae, forming part of the ceremony, viz., the hymns, Sastra, the praises, Sastra, and the rest, composed in Gayatri and other mantras, the sacrifices, which are performed with the help of those mantras, men who perform these, and animals, domestic and wild, which are part of the rites. Objection. It has already been said that death projected Viraj through the union of speech, the Vedas, with the mind. So how can it now be said that he projected the Vedas? The hymns are recollections that are sung by one class of priests, the Ugatra, etc. The Sastras are those very hymns, but only recited by another class of priests. The Hatra, the holy, etc., not sung. There are other Rises too, which are used in a different way by a third class of priests, the Advaru, etc., in the sacrifices. These are the third group of mantras. Reply. It is alright, for the previous union of the mind was with the Vedas in an unmanifested state, whereas the creation spoken of here is a manifestation of the already existing Vedas, so that they may be applied to the ceremonies. Understanding that now the food had increased, whatever he, Prajapati, projected, whether it was action, its means, or its results, he resolved to eat, because he eats everything. Therefore, Aditi, or death, is so called. So the Shruti says, Aditi is heaven, Aditi is the sky, Aditi is the mother, and he is the father, etc. R.I. Lixton. Ricks. Clayton's father's name's Rick. He's basically screaming it at you. Hey guys! He who appears how Aditi, Prajapati, or death came to have this name of Aditi because of eating everything, becomes the eater of all this universe, which becomes his food, that is, as identified with the universe. They're growing pickles, the cucumbers. Otherwise, it would involve a contradiction. For nobody we see is the sole eater of everything. Therefore, the meaning is that he becomes identified with everything. And for this very reason, everything becomes his food. For it stands to reason that everything is the food of the eater who is identified with everything. You're a fool. He desired, let me sacrifice again with the great sacrifice. He was tired and he was distressed. While he was thus tired and distressed, reputation and strength departed. The organs are reputation and strength. You're a fool. When the organs departed, the body began to swell. But his mind was set on the body. You're an idiot. He desired, etc. This and part of the next paragraph are introduced to give the derivation of the words asva, horse, and asvamata, horse sacrifice. You're an idiot. Doing a lobotomy. Like live. No, dude.
Another one. Good call, guys.
Or it's like, that's where like the key in your, the yin and yang. Only you know what's inside of you. So like the health wise, it sounds to me like you're trying to figure out how other people affect you. Like a poison. It's not cool. That's not cool at all. Let me sacrifice again with the great sacrifice. No. Negative. There is no sacrifice. No. The baby. No. To have it. No. The word again has reference to his performance in the previous life. Prajapati had performed a horse sacrifice in his previous life and was born at the beginning of the cycle imbued with those thoughts. Having been born as identified, or like you're put in a corner and you don't know how to get out of it, that's your only response.
5 minutes remain.
Having been born as identified with that's like Cain and Abel. Having been born as identified with the act of horse sacrifice, its factors and its results he desired. Let me sacrifice again with the great sacrifice. Having desired this great undertaking, he was tired, like the other men, and he was distressed. While he was thus tired and distressed, these words have already been explained in paragraph 2. His reputation and strength departed. The Sruti itself explains the words. The organs are reputation, being the cause of it, for one is held in repute as long as the organs are in the body. Likewise, strength in the body. No one can be reputed or strong when the organs have left the body. Hence, these are the reputation and strength in this body. So the reputation and strength consisting of the organs departed. When the organs forming reputation and strength departed, the body of Prajapati began to swell, and became impure or unfit for a sacrifice. But, although Prajapati had left it, his mind was set on the body, just as one longs for a favorite object even when one is away. Loyalty gets its rewards from Buddhist wisdom verses. A king of the geese is caught by a fowler, but his commander-in-chief refuses to leave him. The fowler takes him to the king of men, who, impressed by the virtue, sets them free. All those with vows of friendliness are fortunate in their affairs, just like the Datta Artha geese who return to their relatives. Friendship knows no boundaries. The Bodhisattva was one time born as a lowly god in a sacred reed, Kusanali, Hawaii. Nevertheless, he was able to save the home of a god who lived in a tree, who then spoke his verse. The one the same, the one greater, the one lower, let him make his friend. He should help the unfortunates, just as the reed god did to this tree. Gratefulness to friends. A jackal who saved a lion when he was in peril of losing his life is recommended by the lion to his jealous mate. Whatever. A fish? If a weak friend is established in friendliness, he is my relative, my friend, and my comrade. Tigress despised him not. That jackal saved my life. The true friend. People objected to someone because he was called Black Ear. However, he turned out to be a true friend. Names are not important. They are but sounds. The goat. Is this Isaac and Abraham? Do not do that. He is a friend who goes 7 steps, with 12 a companion true. He is kith and kin at all times. He has seen the same as myself. The 16 qualities of foes and friends. The Bodhisattva explains to King Brahmadatta the 16 qualities of a foe and the 16 qualities of a friend. Having seen you, he does not smile, nor does he give you a welcome. He does not give you attention. He surely speaks out against you. Your enemies he entertains, but with your friends he does not mix. He stops those who like to praise you. He commands those who abuse you. His secret he does not tell you, but your secret he does not hide. He does not praise what you have done. Your wisdom he does not commend. He takes joy in your personal loss. He takes no joy in your success. Having received delicious food, he does not tell you where it is. Yes, he believes that he will gain, not having compassion for you. These are the 16 conditions that are established in a foe. Thus, having seen and heard these things, the wise can know who are their foes. When away he remembers you, on return he greatly rejoices. Therefore he has fondness for you and welcomes you with kindly words. Your friends he likes to entertain, but with your foes he does not mix. He stops all those who abuse you. He commands those who like to praise. He commends those who like to praise. His secret he will tell to you, but your secret he surely hides. He speaks in praise of what you've done, and your wisdom he does commend. He takes great joy in your success, but he takes no joy in your loss. Having received delicious food, he surely tells you where it is. Yes, he believes he will gain from having compassion for you. These are the 16 conditions that are established in a friend. Thus, having seen and heard these things, the wise can know who are their friends. Friends, bad and good. The Buddha explains to the young man Singala how to distinguish bad friends and good friends. The friend who steals things from you, that friend who only promises, that friend who is said to flatter, and that friend who is a spendthrift, the wise will know their for or foes. Avoid them like a fearful path. That friend who is truly helpful, the friend for you in weal and woe, that friend who knows what's for your good, the friend who is compassionate, the wise will know these four are friends. Attend on them like child on breast. The true friend. The Buddha explains the 7 things by which one can recognize a true friend. A friend gives what's hard to give, and does what's surely hard to do. And when there are bad, blaming words that are hard to bear, he bears them. His secret he will tell to you, but your secret he surely hides. He supports you in misfortune, he does not despise you in ruin. In that person these things are found, he is true and lovely friend. With him one can keep company. True friends. 7 more things by which one can know a true friend. Pleasant, respectful, and mature. One who speaks about forbearance. One who talks about what is deep. One does not urge the impossible. In that person all these things are found. He is a true and lovely friend, who really desires your welfare. Though he has come to destruction, with him one can keep company. 4 true friends. A god approaches and asks for questions regarding friends, and this is the Buddha's reply. A caravan's friends abroad, a mother is a friend at home. A companion in times of need is a good friend time and again. Merits that were done by oneself are the true friend in the next world.
One hit.
The disbelievers say, "You, Muhammad, are no messenger." Say, "O Prophet, Allah is sufficient as a witness between me and you, and as is whoever has knowledge of the scripture." I'm almost done. Oh, no, I'm not. Not even close. Abraham.
Bomb army. Bomb army.
Alif Lam Ra. This is a book which we have revealed to you, O Prophet, so that you may lead people out of darkness and into light, by the will of the Lord, to the path of the Almighty, the Praiseworthy.
Get the objective. Objective ready. Bomb taken.
Allah, to whom belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth, and woe to the disbelievers because of the severe torment. They're the ones who favor the life of this world over the hereafter and hinder others from the way of Allah. striving to make it appear crooked. It is they who have gone far astray. We have not sent a messenger except in the language of his people to clarify the message for them. Then Allah leads whoever he wills to stray and guides whoever he wills, and he is the Almighty, All-Wise. Indeed, we sent Moses with our signs, ordering him, lead your people out of darkness and into light, and remind them of Allah's days of favor. Surely in this are signs for whoever is steadfast, grateful. Consider when Moses said to his people, remember Allah's favor upon you when we rescued you from the people of Pharaoh, who afflicted you with dreadful torment, slaughtering your sons and keeping your women. That was a severe test from your Lord. And remember when your Lord proclaimed, if you are grateful, I will certainly give you more, but if you are ungrateful, surely my punishment is severe. Moses added, if you along with everyone on earth were to be ungrateful, then know that Allah is indeed self-sufficient, praiseworthy. Have you not already received the stories of those who were before you, the people of Noah, Ad, Thamud, and those after them? Only Allah knows how many they were. Their messengers came to them with clear proofs, but they put their hands over their mouths and said, we totally reject what you have been sent with, and we are certainly in alarming doubt about what you are inviting us to. Their messengers asked them, is there any doubt about Allah, the originator of the heavens and the earth? He is inviting you in order to forgive your sins and delay your end until your appointed term. They argued, you are no more than humans like us. You only wish to turn us away from what our forefathers worshipped, so bring us some compelling proof. Their messenger said to them, we are indeed only humans like you, but Allah favors whoever he chooses as his servants. It is not for us to bring you any proof without Allah's permission, and in Allah let the believers put their trust. Why should we not put our trust in Allah, when he has truly guided us to the very best of ways? Indeed, we will patiently endure whatever harm you will cause us, and in Allah let the faithful put their trust. The disbelievers then threatened their messengers, we will certainly expel you from our land, unless you return to our faith. So their Lord revealed to them, we will surely destroy the wrongdoers, and make you reside in the land after them. This is for whoever is in awe of standing before me and fears my warning. And both sides called for judgment, so every stubborn tyrant was doomed. The ship. All of life.
Bomb taken.
I'm irate. But anyway. To Jonathan Williams, Philadelphia, March 2nd, 1745. Sir, the letter with which you favored me dated the 2nd '02 came duly to hand. I am at a loss for words to convey the sense I entertain of the favorable sentiments you have been pleased to express for me in that latter. Okay,
Good call.
I mean, you're not in any harm whatsoever, George. You're talking about these people. You're talking about the wind and everything going on outside. I mean, dude, it's as simple as the loan, the money's being offered to me. I don't know what else you want me to say. It's pretty simple.
Enemy there.
I have to come in and basically beat you up after you tried killing me in more than one instance.
Carrier kill.
And they're still arguing about it. I'm flipping semis and shit, and they're still arguing about it. Taking it to the death. Bro, what are you doing, really? Truly.
Bomb taken. Bomb army.
I don't know what you want me to say to you. Other than that you're wrong. We've already mentioned all the positive, things here. The compassion here.
Bomb taken.
However, you've tried murdering me in more than one occasion. On camera. And he's pointed out more than one instance of the reports after the fact, as you continue to make false statements and a false narrative.
I haven't heard anything.
I can picture who it is.
Bomb taken.
There's two sides here. Either you're fat and stupid, and you're basically just trying to drag everyone down, or you're like some super spy who's so deep in the shadows. You see where I'm coming from? I'm talking about some churchgoer there every Sunday. I don't mean your average Christian. I'm talking like the super spy.
Carrier
They
killed.
stand out.
Bomb taken.
I'm flipping semis and they're still over there bitching, making noise. Senate special session. Understanding that he is dead and that they are alive. Again, my friend outside. I don't. Heads explode. But again, as was mentioned, the paperwork. I'm just waiting
Bomb taken.
so I can open up shop and do my own thing. Go through all the expenses there. Well, how much are we gonna build our own shop, or are we gonna rent one out? What are we gonna do here?
Bomb army.
If we're gonna rent it out, it's probably only,
Bomb taken.
hundreds of dollars, by no means thousands. I don't know what you're expecting. I'm the owner of it. Why do I have to go through you? What's the problem here? Again, like I said, if I were to go in there,
Bomb taken.
you look at me like I'm stupid, or you say something that's completely like not, it has nothing to do with anything, or that it's already been excused and it's not relevant at this time. You know what I mean?
Kill.
Here they go.
Bomb taken.
Go ahead and start up your engine. Go ahead, dude.
Bomb army.
I'm not arguing about it.
Bomb.
So the paperwork, dude, that's the argument.
Your team scored. Victory.
Good job. All of humanity, good job.
Incoming.
I've won this. What's the problem?
Objective ready.
That's what you're getting, no matter what. No matter what, this is what you're getting. Senate special session. Reality. He's in the room. They are in the room. Anyway, excuse me for interrupting you, sir. To the great ruler of events, not to any exertions of mine, is to be ascribed the favorable termination of our late contest for liberty. I never considered the fortunate issue of any measure adopted by me in the progress of the revolution in any other light than as the ordering of kind providence, and if the partiality of my countrymen do justice to my motives. Though I'm not arguing that you cannot. You're screaming like a baby. Countrymen, do justice to my motives, though the arduous struggle, and to those which have since occurred in the administration of the present government. As the result of the contest, it is the only reward I ever sought, and the greatest, and could be conferred on, sir, your etc. I appreciate you. It's my honor. I appreciate you. They need to be dealt with. You want me to do it, and it's like, I didn't sign up for that 12-hour day. That's the thing about the choices that you're going to learn about. Because I would have the advantage here. Here, let me get my coffee and let you think about it. Because
Okay.
I'm not arguing. We are not arguing your argument. Cell tower and the cancer. You understand me? I am not. Saved by the Bell.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Nah, we're not doing. Nah.
Slayer.
You got some pretty good time left. Camo somewhere around here.
Target spotted.
Shut up, dude. To the Senate and the House of Representatives. United States, March 2nd, 1795. Gentlemen of the Senate and the House of Representatives. It appears from the information which I have lately received that it may be probably necessary to the more successful conduct of our affairs on the coast of Barbary that one consul should reside in Morocco, another in Algiers, and a third in Tunis or Tripoli. As no appointment for these offices will be accepted without some emoluments annexed, I submit to the consideration of Congress whether it may not be advisable to authorize a stipend to be allowed to 2 consuls for that coast, in addition to the one already existing. To the Vice President of the United States and President of the Senate. United States, March 3rd, 1795. Certain matters touching the public good requiring that the Senate shall be convened on Monday the 8th of June next. I have desired their attendance, as I do yours by these presents, at the Senate Chamber in Philadelphia on that day, then and there to receive and deliberate on such communications as shall be made to you on my part. To the Secretary of State, Philadelphia, March 4th, 1795. Sir, it is my desire that you would, with as little delay as can be avoided, examine all the acts of the last session of Congress, and report such parts as well for the particular attention of the Executive, that they may be put into a proper course of execution. From the letter book copy of the Washington papers, the notifications to the individual senators were also dated March 3rd and varied from the above only in the phrase, I have desired their attendance, which read, you are desired to attend at the Senate Chamber, etc. The notification to Senator Theodore Foster of Rhode Island in the writing of a clerk in the Department of State, but signed by the President, is in the Huntington Library. That's old school.
A federal city dispute. To Tobias Lear,
Never even thought
Philadelphia,
about it.
March 5th, 1795. My dear sir, your favor of the 23rd instance came duly to hand. The letters which I write to acquaintances or friends are done at no great expense of time or thought. They are of-hand productions with little attention to composition or correctness, and ever under these circumstances are rarely attempted when they interfere with my public duties. From what you have written and from what I have heard from others, I hope Mr. Weston is on the Potomac ere this and that much benefit may be expected from his visit. He is certainly a judicious man, with both theory and practice united. I am pleased to hear that the locks which have been erected at the Little Falls have stood the test of a first trial so well, and this pleasure will be increased if Mr. Weston should make a favorable report of them. Is this the Boston Tea Party federal city dispute? An unlucky dispute has or is likely to happen, I find, between the present commissioners and Mr. Johnson, one of the old set. These things, under any view in which they can be placed, are extremely unpleasant and are rendered more so when they are brought before me. The points in dispute have not come before me in detail. The main one, I am told, is whether the lots adjoining Rock Creek above the Stone Bridge come the description of water lots, and would be so constructed in contract between the former commissioners and Mr. Greenleaf. From what I have learnt, it is a question of some magnitude. I just felt that, inasmuch as establishing a principle applicable to the case will have an extensive effect in favor of or adverse to the public property in the city. This being the case, let me ask you to collect the sentiments of the judicious about you in the city and in Georgetown, as far as it is to be done from casual, at least not from forced,
conversations respecting the dispute and to inform me thereof. You will readily perceive that it is for my own and my private information. My request to you proceeds. Both the request and answer to it will of course be confined to ourselves with effect, regard, etc.
Minutes remaining. Clearing victory.
To Thomas Johnson, Philadelphia, March 6, 1795. Dear Sir, about the 20th of last month, I received a letter from the dated at Georgetown, the 12th of January, but which I presumed ought to have been dated the 12th of February. It came to hand at the time the session of Congress was drawing to a close, and of course when the business of it pressed upon me. I therefore laid it aside to be acknowledged by Mr. Potts, but missing that opportunity, I was about to do it by post, when your other favorite of the 28th ultimatum came to hand. It is with great regret I found by both that a difference had arisen between the commissioners and yourself, the precise nature of which I have only a general knowledge. No opinion of mine on the nature of it has yet been given, nor, if it respects property or the construction of a contract, may there be a propriety in my doing it. Sincerely do I wish, however, that this dispute had not arisen, as sincerely that it could be amicable, adjusted upon principles of strict justice. To say precisely when I shall be in the federal city on my way to Mount Vernon for a very short stay is more than I am able, but it is more likely to happen between the 10th. The portions in brackets are supplied from the letter book, the press copy being mutilated. And 15th of April, then at any other time I could name at present. Mr. Smith has intimated his intention of relinquishing his present post to fill it with a well-qualified character in its various relations and duties. It is of high importance to the welfare of the city. But where is this character to be found? Dr. Stewart has named one who in his opinion would answer well, but I stand committed to none, nor for none, nor shall I before I visit the city, if this shall happen in the time that is expected. If any person or persons should have come within your view, I should be grateful for their names, and the sooner I receive from the better, that I may have a little time for reflection and comparison, although the subject may be more fully debated upon when, from what you have written, I may hope and shall expect to meet you in Georgetown, at which time many other matters respecting the federal city may be traveled ever. That both of us wish it well there can be no doubt, and that justice will be rendered to your exertions to bring it to what it now is, and your future endeavors to promote its growth and to raise its importance. I have as little hesitation in declaring with very great esteem, etc. Again, that trip to D.C. that I would like to take, amongst other things. I don't really care about everything else, but I will do that. New Overseers, to William Pierce, Philadelphia, March 8th, 1795. Mr. Smith, I am sorry to find your letter of the first of this instance enclosing the weekly reports that the wheat on the ground is in so unpromising a way. Another short crop of this article will fall very heavy upon me. How does the barley look? It was not my intention to use the rollers until the frost were over and the ground was settled. From the letter book copy in the Washington paper. Hey. If the absconding of French's Paul did not proceed from a quarrel with or threats from his overseer, it will be found, I expect, that he has been guilty of some piece of roguery, of the discovery of which he was afraid. Pains therefore ought to be taken to apprehend and bring him into punishment. What sort of lameness is Dick's at D Run, that he should have been confined with it for so many weeks? Cox. My mother's maiden name is Cox.
Ball
And what kind, I guess my grandmother's maiden name would be Cox. Excuse me. And what kind of sickness is Betty Davis that it should have had a similar effect upon her? If pretended ailments without apparent causes or visible effects will screen her from work, I shall get no service at all from her. For a more lazy, deceitful, and impudent hussy is not to be found in the United States than she is. Is it Sarah that was among the spinners at the mansion house that is now in childbed? If so, she seems to have begun in time. I have bought about 1,000 yards of Osnabrück's German for clothing of my people at Mount Vernon, but there is no conveyance for it at present. It shall be sent by the first vessel direct to Alexandria, but you must not delay this work on account of the non-arrival thereof. I have made considerable inquiry after Lucerne seed, but do not find as yet that I have any certainty of getting that which is good. You had better therefore see if any on which reliances is to be placed can be had in Alexandria. My inquiries shall not cease on that account. How does your new overseer at Mansion House and at Union Farm conduct themselves? Is Allison sober, industrious, and attentive? Is he not too much on a level with those he overlooks and of course too familiar with them? Or does he keep them at a proper distance, remain always with them, and turn the labor of those hands who come to his aid to the best advantage? To do this is a matter of considerable importance. John Groves! Otherwise, the labor which will be at lost at the respective farms will not be gained at the mansion house. I wish you well, etc. P.S. What price does flour bear in Alexandria now? Superfine has again got up to $10 in this city, and fine flour to 72 pounds per barrel. Now, George, calm down. There's no need to brag here and poke at him. Talking to family here. Where were you? So I need to this to be dealt with. Definitely not the hyena here. I'll go over to King David here.
Ball incoming.
Excuse me for a second, sir. Ecclesiastes chapter 11. The original. Excuse me, George. You got me all riled up now. Ha! Woo! Oh, well, you're gonna get me that panda. I believe at the beginning here. So now I need the proper steps here that has been offered or promised to me. As a member of Congress and your first president, that was offered and promised to me as he steps in front of the first Senate, House of Representatives. You see where we're going with it, as he was already mentioned, the paperwork. You see the argument here, as he mentions my cousin and family member, John. I don't think I've ever shook your hand. My mother loves you, but I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what beef you have. I don't. Hi, how you doing? I think Mindy's the only one that reached out. Which, I mean, hi.
We have the ball.
Excuse me, I'm poor. I can't reach out. You know, I can't drive I'm poor. I'm so poor I can't drive 3 hours. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. There's no need to rub it in their face. The flour. I appreciate you. I'll move forward with King David here.
We have the ball.
Cast thy bread upon the waters. Unintentional. Yeah. Excuse me. That was not. Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Okay, so this is a stab to me. See, again, there's no need to brag here. So I got caught. We were swimming in a creek.
Perfect.
I got caught in a little, I don't know what they're called, a drift, where the water goes, it dips down and it picks up. I was young. I was too short and I got caught in it, and she came out and saved me.
She had to come out in the creek. That was about the last time that I remember actually hanging out. Cast thy bread upon the waters. That's what, if you're talking about Sarah, which was last mentioned. I think also someone in the store looked like your identical twin. I think that's why she's being mentioned right now. As you sit there, hey, yo dude, right here on the back of my head. So this is the paperwork that I need, and no, we're not tickled pink. I'm not arguing about it. At all. So, I mean, he would not have done this for no reason at all. Give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth, and if the tree fall toward the south, or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there it shall be. Where they, I guess where they discovered it. I forget this is Abraham. So if you go through Abraham and Isaac, he finds a goat caught in the bush. Again, 8-7 if you go through codes here.
We have the ball.
Do not do that. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Don't have that on your. That's annoying that I have to deal with that.
We have the ball.
It's like it's one thing if you're being attacked in your home and you're defending yourself. It's another thing like just blatantly like as an experiment, as a test. You know what I mean? No. Your inner self. You need to learn about yourself and what's right and wrong.
Enemy has the ball.
He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap.
Ball incoming. We have the ball.
I'm not doing this with them.
We have the ball. Ball dropped. We have the ball.
As thou knowest not what is the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of God who maketh all. Again, the drama that happened, and the false narratives and fraud statements,
Ball dropped.
amongst other things like wrongful appropriation,
We have the ball.
assault, this and that.
Victory.
In the morning sow thy seed, and in the evening withhold not thine hand. For thou knowest not whether shall prosper, either this or that, or whether they both shall be alike good. Truly the light is sweet, and a pleasant thing it is for the eyes to behold the sun. But if a man live many years, and rejoice in them all, yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they shall be many. All that cometh is vanity. Rejoice, O young man, in thy youth, and let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the ways of thine heart, and in the sight of thine eyes. But know thou that for all these things God will bring thee into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from thy heart, and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. I don't, again. Maybe they're asking why. Again, there was a twin there. Beautiful woman. To Giuseppe Sirachi. Philadelphia, March 9th, 1795. Sir, I am directed by the President of the United States to acknowledge the receipt of your letter of the 7th instant and that of the present date, and to express to you his regret at your despair of bringing your plan of a national monument to a fortunate issue. Whether there are sufficient grounds for despair, or whether more time may not be necessary to give the subscription papers a fair trial, and to ascertain the result with more precision, you can decide with more accuracy than he who has not taken and cannot take any active part in this business. He has formed no opinion thereon, much less is he enabled to offer you any advice on the subject. Oh, I sure can. But as you hold out strong indications of deception and complain of ill treatment without pointing to the instances, he thinks it necessary that an explanation should be had between you and himself.
that no charges hereafter may lie at his door. The P.S. is from the printed text in MD. That'd be my initials for CDS. Conway's George Washington. And Clayton is George Washington and Mount Vernon, Long Island Historical Society Memoirs, Volume 4. An Italian sculptor. While in America, he signed himself Joseph Sirachi. Sirachi came to the United States in 1791 with a grandiose scheme for erecting a monument to the American Revolution. Statue of Liberty. A broadside of description of the proposed monument, which is signed in manuscript by Randolph Wolcott, Bradford, Pickering, and Samuel Meredith, is dated Philadelphia, February 14, 1795, and is in the Washington papers, bearing Washington's signature to the subscription articles for 4 shares or $120. The full term of 10 years, if it shall be found necessary. The scheme failed, and Sirachi returned to Europe, became involved in a plan to assassinate Napoleon, and was guillotined in 1801. Marie Antoinette. She was guillotined. You were beautiful. Became involved in a plan to assassinate Clayton. And was guillotined in 1801. So just so we're King Louis the Third. Let's go to King Louis. Let's go to Resident Evil 0. If you go to Resident Evil 0, which I have on camera, bless his soul there. Bless that man. Thank you, sir, for being honest. Honesty goes a long way here. So King Louis. Here, don't mind if I do, Sirachi. Get the maracas out.
Target spotted.
The Alamo, watch out. The Spanish-American War. So, this is the beginning of the Spanish-American War. He tried to blame it on Napoleon, but really it was Mexico. This dude with the conquistadors. You can't bullshit a bullshitter, sir. Try to pull the rug out on me. Call you out really quick. Sirachi, I'll meet you down there. I'll be down there. Hold on. To do this, it requires nothing more than to draw your attention to circumstances which cannot have escaped your recollection. Of your intention of coming to this country originally, the president could have had no knowledge, and you had been in the city sometime before he was informed of it. Whilst here, your name was frequently mentioned to him in very advantageous terms. He was told of the design you had projected for the erection of a national monument, that you were preparing the bust of particular characters in the city. I don't believe I thought of that once. And that you had expressed an earnest desire to take this. I look at it as a joke. That's funny, bro. This request being reiterated, he, with reluctance which he had always felt on these occasions, yielded his assent, and accordingly sat for you, without having any other motive than to accommodate your views, or without perceiving any other object on your part than a desire to take copies from it, if thereafter any advantages were likely to result therefrom. What more, if anything, might have passed between you and others on this occasion, he knows not. And with respect to the public edifice, he does not now recollect whether a memorial which you had prepared for Congress was ever presented, or if presented, what the reception of it was, much less does he know of any specific encouragement that could have induced you to return to this country in expectation of prosecuting the plan. As a public character, he had no power to offer any, because the means of accomplishment were to flow from legislative authority, and as a private man, he never could or would have committed himself in this affair further than as a subscriber. Thus much relates to the first part of the transaction. With respect to the subsequent part, that is your return to this country, and what has happened since. The President desires me to remark that these are events which were adopted without any consultation with him or his knowledge, and he heard through a variety of channels of the model of the proposed monument, the likeness of the bust and CA, before the pressure of business in which he was engaged would permit him to see them, or to comply with the second request that he would set for some alterations in the bust, which was intended for himself, and with which he complied on the same principle which had produced the first sitting, always conceiving that it was for purposes of your own it was wanted, until hints were given that it was designed to be presented to Mrs. Washington. Then for the first time he knew and declared that he could not and would not accept it as a present. I can't accept gifts. He also mentioned in the report, my car was mentioned with the work there, as you sit there and shot me in my bed and get down to the nerves, which is what you're doing on camera, through the outlets, behind closed doors.
Ooh, he didn't like that. You can get off now.
Here's my paperwork. My car was mentioned. He wants me to, I hear you, hold on.
Killing spree. Double kill. Bomb taken. Bomb taken. Bomb army. Carrier kill. Bomb dropped. Bomb taken. Carrier kill. Bomb taken. Carrier kill. Bomb taken. Bomb taken. Bomb army. Bomb dropped. Bomb taken.
It's intense.
With him, you requested that they might be permitted to remain in his house. To this he assented, and supposing the object was that they might be exhibited as specimens of your abilities as sculptor, he had temporary pedestals made for them to stand on, and had always announced them as your workmanship and your property. See, the problem I'm having is, like, to get to this point, the logic's not there for me. If you're gonna do that, this is what I would rather you do it for. I'm not kidding. Stop doing that.
Bomb taken.
Like product placement and this and that.
Okay.
Like, you guys are not involved.
5 minutes remaining.
As denoted by the star, this draft is entirely in Washington's writing. Dandridge, however, wrote and signed the letter sent,
You got it.
referred to
You
in
heard it.
Madison's letter to St. George Tucker,
Bomb
April
taken.
30th, 1830, in the Congregational edition of the Works of Madison, Philadelphia, 1865, Volume 4, page 71. The Diary of Jacob Hiltzheimer, Philadelphia, 1893, notes the following. March 9th at 4 o'clock, the Speaker with 22 members of the House dined
Behind
with
you, behind
President
you.
Washington. He was exceedingly affable to all. This letter is in Washington's papers. To Charles Carter.
Bomb taken.
Philadelphia, March 10th, 1795. Dear Sir, your favor of the 23rd ulto came duly to hand. I wish sincerely it was in my power to comply with your requests in behalf of your son, but it really is not to the extent of it. My friends entertain a very erroneous idea of my pecuniary resources when they set me down for a moneylender or one who now has the command of it. You may believe me when I assert the bonds which were due to me before the Revolution were discharged in the progress of it, with a few exceptions, in depreciated paper. In some instances as low as a shilling in the pound. That such has been the management of my estate for many years past, especially since my absence from home, now 60 days, has scarcely to support itself, that my public allowance, whatever the world may think of it, is inadequate to the expense of living in the city, to such an extravagant height has the necessaries as well as the inconveniences of life arisen, and moreover that to keep myself out of debt, I have found it expedient now and then to sell lands or something else to effect this purpose. These are facts I have no inclination to publish to the world, nor should I have disclosed them on this occasion, had it not been through friendship to give you some explanation of my inability to comply with your request. If, however, by joining with 9 others, the sum required can be obtained, and notwithstanding my being under these circumstances, and notwithstanding the money will be to be drawn from another purpose, I will contribute 100 pounds towards the accommodation of your son's wants, without any view to the receipt of interest therefrom, with very great esteem, and see. To the Secretary of War, Philadelphia, March 10th, 1795. Sir, Congress having closed their late session without coming to any specified determination with respect to the Georgia sale of lands and the application for the extinguishment of the Indian rights to those lands, and not having expressed any sentiment respecting the predatory war between the southern Indians and the southern and southwestern frontiers of the United States, and the desire of the latter to institute offensive measures, it has become indispensably necessary for the executive to take up the subject upon a full and comprehensive scale, that some systematic plan may be resolved on and steadily pursued during the recess. To this end, it is my desire that you would select all the letters of recent date which have been received from the governors of Georgia and the Southwestern Territory, with their enclosures, as also those which have, in like manner, been received from the officers commanding the U States troops in the southern quarter, together with the letters of the Indian agent there and the Freeman, and from careful perusal of the whole, and as they stand connected with Spanish policy, state the several points on which the decision of the executive is necessary, and let me know the earliest day you can have it ready for presentation, that the heads of departments may be summoned in order to consider the same. It may not be amiss at the same time to examine all the laws relative to this subject which were passed at the last, or at any former session, that no information or explanation of the sense of government on this important matter may be wanting. Again, so like stop speaking in tongues. I didn't ask for the Panda Express.
Nearing victory.
Again, I'm not.
Objective income.
1795. Sir, it has been reported to me by the Secretary of State that among the laws of the last session of Congress are several which require the immediate acting of the President, and he has enumerated those of which a list annexed as belonging from a press copy of the original in the writing of Bartholomew Dandridge. The list of the acts, no, from the writing of Clayton Smith. Stop painting me in a bad light. The list of the acts referred to is also copied on the draft as follows. An act to authorize the President to call out and station a corps of militia in the 4 western counties of Pennsylvania for a limited time. An act for continuing and regulating the military establishment of the United States and for repealing sundry acts heretofore passed on that subject.
Bomb taken.
To your department. It is therefore my desire that you lay before me as soon as my convenient the modes which appears best for executing them, and that you note such of them as have been already executed. If any of those laws contain powers to be exercised by the President, not immediately, but at a future day, and eventually only, you will distinguish them in your reports to me. Get to the silverbacks. What was it, the greenbacks? During the Civil War, they changed it to the greenbacks. I don't know what they have back then. I know there's silver notes and such like that. Actual, like, bonds. They're actually, like, using silver and gold, so. To James Ross. Philadelphia, March 14th, 1795. Dear Sir, as my back lands are not offered for sale with a view to speculate in other lands, and as I am thoroughly satisfied that lands which are known to be good, conveniently situated, and the titles to them undisputable, will continue to increase in price, especially in the western county of the state, since the restoration of tranquility and the influx of money there have taken place, I request, if you have not already entered into any positive or honorary agreement for my land in Washington County, that it may not be disposed of. An act making provision for the purpose of trade with the Indians. The same letter was sent to the Secretary of the Treasury with the following list of laws. And they're telling you no, man. An act authorizing a loan of $2 million. An act providing for the payment of certain installments of foreign debts and of the third installments due on a loan made of Bank of the United States. Literally, dude. They're pointing out. You see where we're going with this? An act authorizing the payment of $4,000 for the use of the daughters of the late Count de Gracie. An act to provide some present relief to the officers of government and other citizens who have suffered in their property by the insurgents in the western counties of Pennsylvania. An act making further provision for the support of public credit and for the redemption of the public debt. An act making further appropriations for the military and naval establishments and for the support of government. An act to authorize a grant of lands to the French inhabitants of Gallipolis and for other purposes therein mentioned. An act for the reimbursement of a loan authorized by an act of the last session of Congress. The original of this letter and list are in Connecticut Historical Society. The draft is in the writing of a clerk in the Department of State. I appreciate you noticing that. At less than $4 an acre, 1/4 down, and the other 3/4 in 5 years, with legal interest thereon, the payment of which at the periods they become due to be secured, as in the proposed sale, to Colonel Smith. To Colonel Shiva. 30 shillings an acre was the price I fixed on my land in Washington County when 40 shillings was annexed to that in Fayette several years since. The latter having yielded 20 per count more than the estimated price, I have no apprehension of the others falling short of it, provided it be generally known that it is for sale, with very great esteem, etc. So the problem I'm having is the guy's sitting there throwing a bitch fit. So I have the paperwork I need for this $2 million. I would be trusted over any of the other individuals, and if you want to argue about the trust of a kind, embodied through this and entered it, because that body swelled as Vati, therefore it came to be called Asva, horse, and because it became fit for a sacrifice, therefore the horse sacrifice came to be known as Asvamata, Alexandria. He who knows it thus indeed knows the horse sacrifice. Imagine himself as a horse and let it remain free. He reflected on it. After a year he sacrificed it to himself and dispatched the other animals to the gods. Therefore priests to this day sacrifice to Prajapati, the sanctified horse, that is dedicated to all the gods. He who shines yonder is the horse sacrifice. His body is the year. This fire is Arca. Its limbs are these worlds. So these two, fire and the sun, are Arca and the horse sacrifice. These two again become the same god, death. He who knows thus conquers further death. Death cannot overtake him. It becomes his self, and he becomes one with these deities. Oh, we saw the flash, and it's not going to work for you. That's what he's pointing out. Oh, they tried, didn't they? Huh? The disbelievers then threaten their messengers. Thank you. Awaiting them is hell, and they will be left to drink oozing pus, which they will sip with difficulty and can hardly swallow. Death will overwhelm them from every side, yet they will not be able to die. Awaiting them still is harsher torment. It's for me talking about it, it's like, dude,
Round one. Ball.
I don't like talking about it because it's still surreal, you know. The parable of the deeds of those who disbelieve in the Lord is that of ashes fiercely blown away by wind on a stormy day. They will gain nothing from what they have earned. That is truly the furthest one can stray. Have you not seen that Allah created the heavens and the earth for a reason? If He wills, He can eliminate you and produce a new creation. And that is not difficult for Allah at all. They will all appear before Allah, and their lowly followers will appeal to the arrogant leaders. We were your dedicated followers. So will you then protect us from Allah's torment in any way? They will reply, had Allah guided us, we would have guided you. Now it is all the same for us, whether we suffer patiently or impatiently. There is no escape for us. Dude, you're like, I don't even know where to begin with you. Hi, I'm alive. I'm a real person. I don't know what you're doing.
We have the ball. Ball drop.
They thought they were gonna kill me and ha 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 run away with it? No. Are you stupid? It was a joke. I think it's what they didn't believe. And Satan, they didn't believe. And Satan will say to his followers, after the judgment has been passed, indeed Allah has made you a true promise. I too made you a promise, but I failed you. I did not have any authority over you. I only called you, and you responded to me. So do not blame me, blame yourselves. I cannot save you, nor can you save me. Indeed, I denounce your previous association of me with Allah in loyalty. Surely the wrongdoers will suffer a painful punishment. Not entirely. I can explain it, but I just don't like talking about it. Again, it's not for you, it's for me. I don't really feel like telling you what I'm going to do to you. You can make your own choices. I don't really feel like being that guy. However, you're forcing it upon me, I will be that guy. If you're not going to stop doing this, then this is what you're going to get. I don't know what else to tell you. This is how I feel about it. This is what you did. Accept it. I don't know what else to tell you. This is my perspective,
Instinctual.
you bitch.
Got camo.
It's as simple as that. I'm not following you. I mean, the tools, like... I give credit where credit is due, so... Those who believe and do good will be admitted in gardens under which river flows to stay there forever by the will of their Lord, where they will be greeted with peace. Do you not see how Allah compares a good word to a good tree? Its root, it's firm, and its branches reach the sky. Always yielding its fruit in every season by the will of its Lord, this is how Allah sets forth parables for the people, so perhaps they will be mindful. I think he's telling me to go work out and go run down at the park. Nah. We're going to deal with this first.
We have the ball.
So I'm pretty sure one of the trees down in the park
Ball drop.
is like an old Jurassic male
Enemy has the ball.
pot plant. It has the balls of a male plant. I was running down there one day. I had to double take at it like, hold on. I'm almost positive it's a Jurassic old version. It reaches to the sky. It's a male. They planted it. Here you are. I know exactly where it is.
Oh, watch out, Jack.
I'll be proud about it, the hyena. I'll laugh at you. I don't give a fuck. I know exactly where it is and exactly what he's talking about. I double taked it. I triple taked at it. I stopped running and looked up and pondered at it. Like, I did this. I squinted my eyes. It's funny, that's my first thought as you mention it. For the entire area that I want it to be that way. The daddy tree down there in the park. It's taller than any other tree. It's big. It's huge. It has the balls of a male cannabis plant.
Round two.
And it's old.
Ball incoming.
Anyway. And the parable of an evil word is that an evil tree uprooted from the earth having no stability. It is not evil. You and your evil. It lived that long. The tree lived that long. Adam and Eve. Eve lived that long. From Adam and Eve. I don't know about that. I know exactly which tree it is though. It's out in the open too. It's by the path.
Target spot.
I'm not listening to anything these people have to say. They jumped ahead and I'm not arguing about it. At all. It's no period. That arc is not yours. I assure you, you will be dealt with. Okay, yeah, really. There's a point for all this. That was a mistake on your end. Hi, Clayton, how are you? No consultation whatsoever? Okay, you're fucked. I cannot wait. Allah makes the believer steadfast with the firm word of faith in this worldly life and the hereafter. And Allah leaves the wrongdoers to stray, for Allah does what He wills. That's how they're doing the crying baby in my mouth. They have this arc, and I'm positive that it's like Resident Evil is dug underground here, like National Treasure. I'm not arguing.
Is that a joke?
At all. Not arguing. Sitting there going against God, the non-believers. Okay, go ahead. Do whatever you think you need to do
Clearly
with
bad
that
shit.
art. All it shows me, that's all it is. You can sit there and talk to each other. It's Morse code is what they're doing with those cars. You need to. Oh, she's shaking. I don't give a fuck. I promise you are going to be dealt with. As you sit there. And that attachment. I'm not arguing about it at all.
Enemy has the ball.
Before the arrival of a day in which there will be no ransom or friendly connections. There's no THC, so therefore it was not at the time. Regardless of the situation, even though it never should have been. It is Allah who created the heavens and the earth, and sends down rain from the sky, causing fruits to grow as a provision for you. He has subjected the ships for your service, sailing through the sea by his command, and has subjected the rivers for you. So if any of these grow shops around here have seeds popping up that they're unaware of or unintentional, that's probably where it would be from, because it is a very, very big tree. You would confuse it for like an oak tree. It's that big. He has also subjected for you the sun and the moon, both constantly orbiting, and has subjected the day and night for you. It's male, so again, there's no, you would confuse it. And he has granted you all that you asked him for. If you tried to count Allah's blessing, you would never be able to number them. Indeed, humankind is truly unfair, totally unfair. Remember when Abraham prayed, "My Lord, make the city of Mecca secure and keep me and my children away from the worship of idols." My Lord, they have caused many people to go astray. So whoever follows me is with me, and whoever disobeys me, then surely you are still all forgiving, most merciful. We'll stop at 1436 of the Abraham out of the Quran, and we'll move on to the father here.
Enemy has the ball.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12. This will be the last one. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth,
Should
while
I
the
quit
evil
now?
days
I
come
think I've
not,
won
nor
all
the
of
years
them.
draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in
Enemy has
them.
the ball.
While the sun or the light or the
Ooh,
moon or
what
the stars
spell are we
be not
casting
darkened,
today,
nor the clouds
boys?
return after the rain.
I think I'm
In
undefeated.
the day when the keepers of
What
the house
spell
shall
are
tremble,
we
and the
casting?
strong men shall bow
We
themselves,
have the ball.
and the grinders
we
cease
go.
because they are few, and those that look out of their windows be darkened.
Ball dropped.
And the doors shall be shut in the streets, and the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. The fiddler. Also when they shall be afraid of that which is high,
Round.
and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish,
To be honest,
and the
it's a little
grasshopper
frustrating. I
shall
almost
be
want to quit and
unburdened,
just
and
leave it at
desire
that.
shall fail, because man goeth
Because
to
of
his
what they're
long
doing. I
home,
see what you're
and the
doing.
mourners go about the streets.
Incoming.
If I start losing too bad, I'll just walk out and go ahead and end it at that.
Or ever the silver
How about that?
cord be loosed, or the golden bowl
how
be
about that?
broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain.
Oh, you can cry all you
or
want.
the wheel
that spell you're
broken at the
casting.
cistern. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it.
You know what I mean?
Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, all is vanity. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yeah, he gave good heed, and sought aught, and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words.
Yeah.
of truth.
Again, if I lose too bad
The
here, I'll
words
just
of the
walk
wise
out.
are as goads,
I'll go ahead and
and
just
as
claim it
nails
here.
fastened by
Thanks
the
for the
masters
win.
of assemblies, which are given
I
from
appreciate
one
you guys.
shepherd. And further, by
not e-
these,
I'm not
my
even gonna go
son,
down that
be
route with you.
admonished of
Thank
making
you.
many books there is no end,
Thanks
and
for
much
the win, guys.
study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work unto judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Stop there. That's the end of Ecclesiastes. So the next one would be, I see the Song of Solomon. Be Moses here, and I'll separate the Red Sea. Father and son here. So I guess he's trying to move away from the Quran. Thank you for your time. I appreciate all of you. George, I will definitely be pursuing this with the banks, as far as banknotes